Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bogey Golf Podcast hosted by Michael and Johnny. Now, when it comes to fashion and style, golf has notoriously been late adopter when it comes to dressing athletically or even just kind of fashionably as a whole. But thankfully, that's been changing. And quite frankly, as of late, not only are tour professionals, but also hackers like us getting more self-conscious and fashion forward when it comes to going out and playing on the golf course. You're not seeing too many of those typical polos, quarter zips, pants outfits. You're seeing a bit more adventurous outfits out there on the golf course. And one man who's at the forefront of what's happening in the golf fashion industry is Sam Jones. You may know him from his Instagram account, Golf Fashion Guy. And I'd like to say that Sam's joining us now to look back at some of the big trends of the year, as well as why and how our sport has shifted in the last few years. So, Sam, thanks very much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me, gents. Excited to chat through golf fashion and what's been going on this year.
For people that may not know the brand or may not follow you on Instagram or on YouTube, could you give a little bit of background as to kind of who you are and where you came from?
Yeah, I'll give you the short version because the long version, no one needs to hear that. I was a golf pro. I was a first of all being younger. Golf wasn't my first sport. I was a footballer through and through. Sort of picked up the game of golf when I was around 13, 14, 15, that sort of stuff. Like the fact that I wasn't very good at it. Like the fact that every time you went out, you felt like you could get better and there were things you could do differently and improve, which was exciting. So started to pursue golf and got to a stage where after university I turned pro and went through the PGA, did my PGA degree, worked as a golf pro for 10 years. Sort of 5 years into that, roughly around 2017, I started a YouTube channel called The Golf Fashion Guy. And it was the reason why I started it. I had a lot of friends of mine who would sort of come to me asking me for advice on footwear to wear. I was always the sort of the guy in our friendship group who did our PGA together who was more fashion conscious. I've always liked my apparel. I was always liked fashion outside of golf. And yeah, they would come to me, and one evening we sort of sat down with a couple of friends, and they were like, "Why don't you start something on social media, or do YouTube or something? You've got a lot of advice to give. Like I'm sure people would benefit from it." And yeah, started it in end of 2017, and yeah, here we are 7 years later, and yeah, it's kind of grown into what it's grown into, which has been yeah, it's a lot of fun. But that's yeah, got gave up the PGA a couple of years ago. Sort of got my amateur status back, and I've just been enjoying being a member of a golf club and an amateur golf again.
That's interesting. You talk about kind of the members and friends coming to you because a lot of PGA pros and a lot of the brands that I would talk to from like the golf apparel side, they overstate the importance or can't overstate the importance of how crucial PGA pros are, especially in kind of member clubs, because they're kind of the biggest sales advocate for what they do think works or doesn't work for members. So interesting that you kind of get that firsthand experience or kind of market research from the outset.
Yeah, and my years as a golf pro, I owe a lot to my head pro, who at my last golf club that I was at, who allowed me to start the Golf Fashion Guy because there would have been. I was talking about brands that we weren't stocking in the shop, and that can be, that could be for some golf pros. That could be, they wouldn't want their assistant doing that. But my head pro was very. Gave me a lot of freedom to sort of do what I want, and yeah, I owe a lot to him for that because he could have yeah put a bit of a stop to only allowed me to only talk about brands that we stocked in the shop. But being a golf pro and working in a golf shop allowed me to get my hands on a lot of product and experience a lot of product and get to know a lot of people at brands and get a first look at sort of what's coming out the next year and get ahead of the game. So I always felt like I had a good grasp on what was coming and the technologies as well. So yeah, it was so really beneficial for the page and the channel to have had that chance to work in the shop and yeah, get hands on product.
It's kind of like a unique thing you're kind of fashioning because there's not no one else doing it. When you before you kind of came about, I was saying to Johnny, you'd look on it would be there's a Nike, there's an Adidas Polo, there's the standard Navy chinos, and anyone who was doing anything in golf was picking stuff from left, right, and center. But there was no one who was saying, "Oh, this is cool, this is not cool." It was the kind of just standard whatever was in the pro shop. So I
Very
think,
safe.
yeah, it was just all the safe stuff. And I like I said to Johnny and I have this joke that it's the standard white middle-aged us playing golf. That's an Adidas rack off the polo or Adidas polo off the rack. So I think that's what kind of came out to me. That I was like, this is so unique that there's a guy going, watch this and this and then even I think one of the coolest things is the videos you have. Some of them are you go, I'm wearing this jacket. I'm a medium. It's a little tight here, so I'd go large. And like to me, that's where the key to buying something is because in people, especially golfers, it's all about how does it feel in the fit. So like for kind of a niche Instagram, it's something that when I found it, I was like, Johnny, this is class, and there's no one else doing it. I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah, that was. I appreciate that. That was one of one of my main things with my Instagram account is like cool posts and showing off product is great and everything, but you got to provide value to the people that are have decided to press the follow button to have your content show up on their feed. Like if you're delivering them some decent info on products that might be coming out, so on and so forth, that's one thing, but people want to know how stuff fits. People want to know, what's good about it, what's maybe not so good about it. So I try with the content that I make to provide as much value as I can for the people that might stumble across the post. I want, social media can be a lot about entertaining people, but for me, it's like a lot of the stuff that I do is informing and just trying to make sure that people see the value in the content that goes out when they come by the page.
And so when you left your PGA and went into this, were you going into this full time or like how quickly does this become a full time gig for you?
It's not a full-time gig now. So I don't really advertise too much of what I do outside of the Golf Fashion Guy on my page. But when I started YouTube and Instagram, more so YouTube, but I sort of had this idea that if my content looked professional, people would sort of buy into what I was talking about. It'd be more believable the more professional the content looks. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. So I kind of got deep in the rabbit hole of photography, videography, how to work a camera, all that sort of stuff. And I'd never picked up a camera before starting my Instagram account and my YouTube channel. You asked me to operate the equipment that I use now for posting and give it to me before I started, I'd have no idea what you were showing me. It would have been so alien. And so I basically now do freelance photography and videography for brands in golf. So
Cool.
I've done some stuff, done a few bits for Motor Caddy. I've worked behind the scenes for Titleist, Scotty Cameron, and yeah, a few other brands as well. So yeah, I sort of do the shooting, editing, that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what I do behind the scenes.
So then, what is golf fashion guy? So we kind of talked about how you got into it, but like, what is it, and what's kind of the mission of the brand?
Yeah, mission of the brand for me has always been helping people. It's always been providing people with options, what I think looks good on the golf course, how to put outfits together, what sort of things that you should be wearing, product reviews. So, should you be parting with £400 for this waterproof jacket or not? How do these trousers fit? Are they, it says 32 on the label, but we all know that trousers that say 32 on the label or 34, they don't all fit the same. So, how do these fit versus another pair of trousers and that sort of stuff. So the mission for the brand is to always, and the page is to always provide value to the people that follow, and hopefully, you if you come across my page and you scroll a little bit, you'll either find out something about a product that you didn't know before, or you might see something that you've not seen before and like the look of it, and maybe be inspired to go out and pick it up. Like the biggest compliment I ever get is when someone drops me a DM and says, "Look, I saw your video. I went out and purchased this, whether it's trousers, shoe, whatever. I love them. They're the best. They're the best shoes I've ever worn." But that for me is always been the number one goal, is to have people out there that can be able to say that to me. And when I get those messages, it's really cool. And I think that'll forever be the motivation for the account.
You very subtly, before we hit record in the podcast, moved the old course reversed caddy bib there over the door. It's got your name on it and everything. Golf Fashion Guy must have taken you to some pretty cool places. No, least of all St Andrews.
Yeah, this year's been pretty incredible. Some of the things that I've gotten to do through different brands this year, has been it's been incredible. I was in Abu Dhabi and Dubai earlier this year in January, with shooting some content for Titleist and Scotty Cameron, and then to go from there. I was at the PGA show in January, which was highly recommend to any fan of golf if you want to go out to Orlando in January. That was really cool. But like, I've been to the Adidas HQ this year in Germany, looked around the archive room there that's got, you know, the first golf shoes that they ever did, the first Tour 360s, all the World Cup final balls from the last however long for the Football World Cup, and to get to experience that. And then, yeah, as you say, St Andrews, like we sort of said beforehand, I'd never been to St Andrews before. I got an invite from the guys at Travis Matthew, which I hadn't done a ton with Travis Matthew before that, but know the guys quite well, and they sort of said, "Do you fancy coming and doing the old course reversed?" So I said, I'm around. I'm free.
Does anyone say no to that invite?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me move a few bits around. That's fine. I'll make that work. So, yeah, I did manage to do the sort of the standard way round on the first day. Stayed overnight in the Russex Hotel, which sensational, and then did the reverse the next day. And so, yeah, that was incredible. And then, like, having just come back from Under Armour, start of November, went out to Under Armour for 3 or 4 days in Baltimore, see their campus, which is absolutely sensational. That was such a fun trip. Hospitality was great. I was consulting for them on product for 2026 and 2027, which we talk about the page and the direction that I'd love to see it go in from a personal standpoint. Like, I'd love to work with brands on like a consultancy basis and sort of say what I like and what I don't like and how I think things should fit and not fit, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's stuff I've missed out in there. I was in LA in October, and so yeah, I've gotten to see a lot of the world this year, which has been incredible. I think I've been to the US 3 times this year.
Wow.
Which is insane. So yeah, it's been mad, but very grateful for all the opportunities. And I think the old course reversed is pretty cherry on top type stuff.
Sorry, so it's all these trips. I always say to Johnny that us golfers, we're all nerds about certain things. Okay, so with all these trips you were in, what was something where you went, even recognized yourself? Was it like going into fabrics? Was it going into the fit of the shoes where you went, "Oh my God, I'm such a nerd, but I'm all in on something"? So whether it was Under Armour or Adidas, what was something where you were like, "I love these really minute details"?
I have to reference the Under Armour trip for that. So we were in their golf simulator room that they've got on campus, which members of staff can sort of hire out and use the simulator in there, which is very, very cool. But there's a ping pong table in there as well. And we had all the product laid out from 2026, 2027, all over this ping pong table. And we're talking about widths of collars and materials of collars and how wide a placket should be on a polo shirt. And should this polo shirt have cuff sleeves or should it have looser fitting sleeves? And, you know, I was wearing a medium in one particular top, and we're like, do we feel like that needs to fit a little bigger? Or all that sort of stuff is super nerdy, but I love it. They've got a piece coming out. I think it's next year. It's like looks like a kind of windbreaker style top, but it's more mid-layer-ish, and I loved it. It was a really, really cool piece. Something I don't think that a lot of people would expect to maybe see from Under Armour.
Okay.
And we were talking about, should it have pockets? Should it not have pockets? Should it fit bigger around the shoulders and the sleeves? Do we want it to fit more like a sort of a sleeveless rain jacket, or do we want it to fit more like a mid-layer? Do you want it slimmer and it's cuffed at the hem, but should it not be? And all that. So we got so in the weeds on a lot of stuff, and that's the stuff that I just, as a product guy and loving different materials and fits and that sort of stuff. It was so fun, but also really fun because the team were really engaged in it as well. Like they loved it as well, and
They
so
were just as nerdy as you were.
yeah, they were just as nerdy. So we had one of the guys from the fitting team there who he had his tape measure out. It was like being in a suit fitting. So he's like measuring me shoulder to shoulder on this particular polo shirt and going, obviously I'm, normally say in my videos I wear a medium across the board. It'll probably be a large after Christmas, but we'll do something about that for next year. But like, how does this medium fit versus another shirt? And do we think it needs to be bigger across the shoulders, or how do we? So there was everyone from the footwear team there to the apparel team, and yeah, everyone was really invested in it, which made it a really fun experience. It's one of those like 3 hours that just go by like that, just incredible. It was so much fun. Something definitely a highlight of this year for me.
I watched that video actually they did from the Under Armour campus, and like the color room
The color room
was
is
wild. So Michael, basically they had like they went through all the different Pantons and on the colors, and how the different, like the same color code looks different under different lights, like daylight, outdoors, cloudy, everything. I was like, this is wild. From like a
yeah.
video background with my side, I was like, this makes loads of sense.
I was the sad thing for me with that is the audio from that room wasn't fantastic, so it was for me to put the edit together. There was a lot more that came from that, but I was sort of testing a new camera mic setup, and it didn't quite do what I wanted it to do, and there was a bit of an aircon hum in that room that was quite difficult to edit out. But there was a little bit more. But they were talking about how they pick a color, and then how that color has to appear the same color, whether it's leather, whether it's neoprene, whether it's suede. So you try and get that color to appear exactly the same across all the different materials, and then the challenges around that. They're going from one navy to another navy, I think, next year. And so they're just talking about the process of selecting a navy to go from one to the other, and then how does that then appear on different products that they make and that sort of thing. It was really cool to look in that room. And then, as you say, yeah, the bits under the different lights was insane to see as well.
Yeah. Do many brands get in touch with you to, like, it sounds like that's like a consultancy type of role there. You came in and give your opinion on lots of different products and plenty of feedback.
No one aside from Under Armour has sort of officially asked for me to do that, but I have many a chat with different brands on, a lot of people from brands will reach out, and sometimes it's very nice. People will reach out and ask if they can send me some bits and bobs for me to do some content on or whatever, and then I might receive some bits through in the post, wear it, make some content, and then more often than not, it's probably me reaching out going, I might just change this, or I'd like the sleeve to maybe be a little bit tighter around the cuff, or I'd like it to be a little bit more generous in the body, or something along those lines. Yeah. And I do that in like the content that I make. Reflow's a really good example. I love the guys at Reflow, and they sent me a couple of pieces. I don't know if might have been in the last year, might have been start of this year, but sent me one of their mid layers, and it was a paid partnership type situation. They wanted me to create some content for them and post it. And even in that paid sort of capacity, I always try and make sure that the content almost doesn't seem paid. Mm. But there's no value to me just if a brand's paying me they don't sort of get a look at what I'm going to say before I post, but there's no benefit to them if I just gas it up and just say, oh, this thing's the best thing I've ever seen, and then someone then goes out and buys it, and they're like, actually, Sam, I didn't really think that was good quality at all. I don't benefit there. It
takes your integrity away from what you're trying
to
do.
But I don't benefit there. The person buying it doesn't benefit there. No one really benefits from that situation. So Reflow were really cool. I just said, look, like I said in the content, I really liked how the mid layer fit through the body. The material's lovely, but the cuff is just way too loose for what I like. I do think it should be more cuffed around around that forearm area, a little bit more tapered. And I saw the guys that went out in the content, and I saw the team a little while after, and they said, "Oh, just to let you know, like we've changed the forearm for next year's product. It's going to be a lot more tapered in the forearm." And I'm like, that's for me, that's really really cool. So, little long-winded way of saying it. Doesn't Under Armour were the first brand to sort of officially invite me with that in mind, but I do get to have chats with many brands on what I think about their product from a, because that's they'll, I like to think the brand will benefit from those conversations.
For sure.
Yeah. And then I think the people will benefit from those conversations rather than just me. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. If I do think that, I'll say that. But if there is a chance for me to be constructive with my criticism, then that's the most important part, because you can say, "Oh, something's rubbish," and you don't like it, but like no one benefits from you just slamming a product either. So if I can critique in a way that's positive, that I know a brand can sort of fix, say fix. It's obviously subject to what I might like. Something else someone else might like the opposite, which is obviously fine. But yeah, it's cool to be able to have those conversations. Definitely.
Like we've dabbled with certain things, like we've been sent some things, and Johnny and I have always been like, well, let's have a look at it, and if we like it, then let's do something. So G4 shoes or Lynx waterproof, it was very much okay. Well, let's have a look at the stuff. If we like it, then we'll do something with it. So it's not just such and such sports have sent Johnny and Michael a random hat, and we're saying it's the greatest thing that's ever, So like we're very lucky. We were with G4 or with Lynx waterproof stuff, top quality, and we got to do it. So yeah, the integrity thing is big, because I think the minute you fall in the rabbit hole of just, as you say, this is brilliant, everyone goes, okay, I'm actually done with that kind of content, and they just switch off.
Yeah, found out very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole content from the very beginning with reviewing things on YouTube has always been built on honesty and integrity and saying it's obviously really difficult, right? When a brand's sending you lots of stuff, it's tough to turn around and say, I don't really like that piece, like that, because you feel obligated to to say how lovely it is, because it's you want to seem grateful for them sending you things, but ultimately it's, for me, the honesty and the integrity. If I was to ever lose that, or people were to perceive the pages to not have that anymore, I think that's a very sharp decline that you can experience there. So I try and be as honest as I can be. I tend to say I would never slam a product, as I said, for sort of no good reason, but I'd always try and be as constructively critical if I can, because I feel like everyone sort of wins in that scenario in the long run.
For sure. In terms of like the golf fashion industry as a whole, as you were saying at the start, it's really elevated in the last few years. It's a pretty crowded space as well. We've seen plenty of golf brands kind of start up, make a lot of noise very early on, and then kind of wither and die, because it's a tough industry to break into. You need a lot of capital. How have you seen the like golf fashion evolve over the years since you started Golf Fashion Guy?
Yeah, it's been a mad change. So 7 years. So 7 years ago, pre-COVID, you think of what golf was like in general pre-COVID, right? Like memberships were declining. You had golf clubs who would, in the good times, be offering memberships with a joining fee. Golf clubs taking away joining fees, trying to incentivize people to come and play. And the golf fashion industry in some way, shape, or form was kind of similar. It couldn't say it was booming. A lot of brands doing some really good stuff, still, which has always really been the case. There's always been some brands who've been at the forefront of what we do, and brands that you see in pro shops, especially your Adidas's, your Nikes, your J. Lindebergs, your brands like that you'd Under Armour, you'd see in pro shops up and down the country. Nowadays, it's so different, and I say this to people. For me, the tour has always been a big inspiration. I've always wanted to dress like Billy Horschel or Adam Scott or people that you see on the telly. That's always been an inspiration for me, outfit wise.
You picked two very handsome men there.
Well, yeah, I mean,
very well dressed men as well.
Yeah, just to be friends with those two guys would be just to have a beer would be great. But we owe a lot to social media for the change, because I think if social media didn't exist, I think golf fashion would look exactly the same as it did pre-COVID. Instagram gave people, brands, the opportunity to reach an audience that they'd never been able to reach before, and be able to start something from nothing. I want to say with relative ease, because a lot goes into creating a brand. But social media was huge for what golf fashion looks like now. It's quite a mad topic to sort of dissect and think about the change that we've gone through in the last year. And golf clubs have had to move with it as well, right? Like, when did Tyrrell Hatton win Wentworth in a hoodie, and everyone lost their marbles, and now hoodies are fairly relatively acceptable at pretty much most places. I heard a story this weekend of a club that still don't allow hoodies, and someone pulled a junior off a golf course off the first tee wearing a hoodie, I think.
Whoa.
Which was a golf specific hoodie. I'll add, it wasn't a cotton oversized hoodie, and he certainly wasn't wearing jeans and trainers. It was a very golf specific outfit he was wearing, but the top had a hood. It was not allowed. But most places, I feel like, have moved as much as golf clubs like to move with the times. It's a slow process, but I feel like we're getting there with what's become acceptable on the golf course. And I think social media has had a huge role in where we are today.
You kind of talked about it there, but like the tour players are a big way of advertising. They still are. Like, you look at what Malvin are doing with Jason Day in particular, like Minwoo Lee and Lululemon are another good example of kind of different kind of louder advertising routes that brands are using, and with tour players. Who are some other brands that are doing very well that you've seen? Because I imagine with your PGA background, you must watch plenty of golf as well.
Yeah, I try, and I probably watch more golf than my wife would like me to. But yeah, it's a lot of brands doing some really good stuff. As you sort of touched on there, Lululemon. I still think the tour plays quite a role in what people wear to play golf. I think, Instagram and social media, how much that's done to give other brands the opportunity to showcase their product. Like, it's played a big part. But for me, the tour is still where people, I say people who actually play golf. So you got a Sunday medal at your local golf club. John Smith, 55 years old, plays off 15, turns up. Like, there's a good chance he probably doesn't have a social media account, but he probably watches a little bit of golf on the telly. So he's still going to be heavily influenced by the people that we see on the telly. Names I mentioned, like Billy Horschel and RLX. I love what RLX and Ralph Lauren do. Throughout, if you go and Google Billy Horschel's first sort of few years on tour, Google images, and look at the sort of outfits that he was rocking back then, they still look just as good. They would look just as good now as they do then. So yeah, the timeless style that they provide is great. Grayson have been a really lovely sort of introduction in the last couple of years. Couple of lads. I know they do Legion. Is it Legion or Legion 13? Is it
13?
On Live? So they deck those guys out. Those Grayson pieces always hit really well. So yeah, and obviously Jason Day with Malvin. Like, Malvin have done an incredible job over the last how many years? 3-4 years since they sort of popped up, and the way that they've been able to recognize the importance of utilizing the tour,
Mm.
not just relying on influencers and Grant Horvat and people like that to sell their product, but actually recognizing that the tour still plays quite a role in what people wear to play golf. And so yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years, but yeah, the tour is still very important, and brands recognize that. And yeah, loads of brands doing some really good stuff, good product. And McCade's one as well. I want to mention McCade because I'm wearing a McCade hoodie right now.
Little plug. All
They
right.
they sponsor Alex Noren, Ewan Ferguson, and they're another brand who are relatively new to the sport, but again recognise the importance of the tour and how supporting the tour and the stuff that they get back off the back of that is important for the brand.
Mm. I
Yeah,
think that
they do a
kind
lot of
of
like woolen hoodies and kind of woolen crew necks and woolen polos and stuff. Those guys, I saw them actually. When I saw them with Alex Nair, and they do look cool.
Yeah, he's not. You know, there are people that clothes just hang well off,
Mm.
right? Like Adam Scott is a fantastic. Billy Horseshoe again, another fantastic example. Clothes just look good on them. No disrespect to Alex Noren, but I wouldn't say that he would fit into that
Yeah.
bracket. But to still have someone give him a shout out to say, yeah, those pieces look really good. I think that says a lot for the product.
Mhm.
I love Alex Noren. That's no slight on Mr. Noren, but yeah, the McKay gear is really class. They've had a really big year, to be fair, in 2025.
Yeah, they've got you and Ferguson and stuff
Hmm.
as well. Like, he's one of those lads that like you know what he wears. I always say this to Johnny, like he wears those sunglasses and he's got a mullet and a goatee and he looks cool. And if I rocked up
for the
on the
lad.
first tee, they'd be like, "Mate, get off!" Like it
Yeah,
just doesn't look good in you, man. But he's oozes cool even, and I think the clothes really suit him.
I can't do the mullet thing either. If I turned up, I'm the same as you. If I turned up with a mustache and a mullet, people would be yeah.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm
I
trying.
could grow one out, but it looks it's. I've never wanted to do the whole Movember thing and actually find out what it really looks like. I don't think I've got what it takes for that. But yeah, I spent some time with you and in Abu Dhabi this past January. Yeah, really cool lad, really good lad, and yeah, looks very good in the McCade gear. So it's good to see them getting a little bit more exposure as well, and hopefully he has a good season next year and gets a little bit more time on the telly to show off the gear, because ultimately that's what it comes down to for these brands who
Yeah.
support the tour, right? They need their players playing well and having good finishes like Norin at last night. Was it last night? It was last night
It
at the
was, yeah.
Hero. So yeah, that's it's important for the tour boys that they sponsor to play well.
Talking about those knit woolen hoodies you're talking about, the cashmere ones. Michael sent me on the video that you did about the Nike hoodies and the ones that aren't actually like obtainable by the public. I think maybe you sent it on the week of the Irish Open. You put that one out, and I happened to be walking the course with Rory during a practice round, and I got to the third tee box, and I was like, Rory, I've got to ask you a question. Where can we get these hoodies? And he just turns to me and goes, "You can't." And it wasn't even like you just like
That's so
you
good.
can't get them. It was you can't. And I was like, oh, that feels a little pointed. He's just like, they're made in a factory in Italy. We get them specially made, not for you, son. And I was like, all right, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, so Johnny texted me and was like 100% because you when you put up that video, it opened up a huge thing between me and Johnny's like these hoodies. I like Johnny's like I want one of them, and then we just started diving into this, and then finally Johnny texted me. He's like, I've got the answer off Rory out of the horse's mouth.
That's very cool. When I posted that, I'd sort of feel like I'd heard somewhere, and I can't remember who I heard it from, but someone said that they're not Nike product. It's something else, because Scottish Open, when Rory beat McIntyre in the Scottish Open last year, I want to say, when he hit the
Yeah,
2-iron
Yeah,
shot of the year, he was wearing and when he tucks his knits in, I can't handle when Rory tucks a knit in. He had this knit polo on, beautiful. He had it tucked in. I just can't, Rory. But it was a knit collared polo shirt, long sleeve,
mm,
looked class. And I'm like, why do those not exist to the public?
Because
And so,
you go into a pro shop and it's just the no offense to Nike, but it's the bog standard Nike polos. There might be one out there a little bit, but it's like it's the 45 € standard dry fit. I was like, it's a cross. I always say, Johnny, it's a cross between like a football jersey and a really nice shirt, and it's not in either camp.
Mm.
It doesn't work.
yeah, so obviously then this year comes around, and for some reason those two posts did insane numbers for me. Those two, a lot of people wanting to know what's going on, and I actually had someone from Nike reach out um, and left me a voice note and said they are Nike product, they are player only, as was confirmed. With Johnny there that Rory confirmed that yeah they are Nike product, they are player only, but there is a chance next year that we will see 2026 we'll see those products come to market.
Ooh.
A version, I don't know if it'll be exactly what Rory wears, but Nike I think will be bringing knitwear, good knitwear with a swoosh. They do occasional crew neck pieces of knitwear that's more a technical, but they're like proper, as you say, like made in Italy, like proper stuff. And so there's a chance we might get something along those lines next year, which is cool. I remember the days of being able to get the Tiger knitwear, uh,
The
the
TW,
thick
yeah.
lamb's wool stuff back in the day. Not that anyone would wear lamb's wool nowadays in this day and age, be merino or cashmere, depending on how your wallet rolls. But still, it'd be
I,
cool to be
I,
able to get those products.
yeah, I'd like to put on record I'm the only one in this podcast who doesn't own a cashmere hoodie, lads. I'm just going to put that out that the two boys here have opened the wallets for
Nearly
a nice.
remortgaged my house to buy a Grayskin cashmere hoodie. Jesus.
In all fairness, the cashmere hoodie that I have is a cotton cashmere blend. So I'm not quite all the way there. I can boast a crew neck, but I'm not all the way there on a hoodie. So yeah, I might have to remortgage my house as well.
I think that brings us on nicely to we send on questions for you, which is basically which brands are kind of dominating different categories in this year. So we broke it down to shoes, hoodies, tops, pants, and then just kind of design overall. So you're definitely more in tune with this industry than we are. Let's start off with shoes. Who have done the best shoes this year? I guess even within shoes there are so many different variations.
Do you know what? I want to turn that round to you guys,
Yeah.
and I want you to tell me what you guys think first off. Are some of the shoes that you've worn the most this year, or like the look of, or I always find it interesting. Obviously, I'll give my side at some point, but it's always interesting to hear from others what people are actually wearing and enjoying.
So Johnny and I are quite different in this because I like the real old school classic, real fan, like the FootJoy kind of design. So the G4 Galators are I'm in love with. I love that real old school shoe. Johnny, you kind of lean more to a more modern kind of shoe.
Yeah. I think also it depends on like we have this saying which is are we going full tour pro? So if we're playing a big round of golf, so if we're going to like Royal County Down or Port Rush or the Hinge, or playing a big trophy course, we'll look, or even if we're playing a big match between us, we'll message each other the night before, be like, listen, are we going full tour pro here, or are we going like shorts and a t-shirt here? What's the story? Because if we're playing a big round of golf, even if it's lovely and sunny outside, they don't wear shorts on the tour. So
No,
we're wearing trousers. We're giving it the full socks. So I think it depends. So yeah, if it's a big round, I'm wearing the G4 Galavanters. I really like the Galavanters, the original design on those ones. I really really like those. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be more of like an athletic shoe, kind of like a runner style golf shoe. And
I
then even
do.
within that, there's like the summer ones, which are spikeless.
Yeah, the G4, the longest product name in history, the MG 4.0. No, it's the MG 402 G-Lock not the Gallivanter,
Galavanters,
the
yeah.
G-Lock, the ones that are a little more trainer like. I've got a pair of the navy ones, and
They have
they're
got
very
those,
cool
yeah.
shoe. I love, by the way, that you guys think like that. It's a nice place that I'm going to go and play golf. I'm going to dress for the occasion. I think a lot of people do that, but it does. It's something that never really gets spoken about all that often. I've touched on it a couple of times in some content I've done this year of if I'm going to go and play somewhere, some nice country club style place or an open championship venue or whatever, then you'll dress for. I like to dress for the occasion, go a little bit smarter. I like that you guys think along those lines. FootJoy for me, product wise, is always a brand that I've had a chance this year to probably experience more new product from new brands than I have before. Okay. So in years past, you would have seen me wearing FootJoy a whole lot more than you probably would have done this year. Sure. But I still, if I've got any game of golf that I'm going to go and play, if there's meaning behind it, if it's a nice course, if I'm playing teeing it up in a monthly medal or whatever it might be, then there's a good chance I'll have a pair of Premier Series on my feet, whether that's a Field, a Packard, a whatever, Field LX, collab, non-collab, whatever. I'll probably have a pair of Premier Series on feet.
Nice. Who is there a brand that's kind of jumped out recently to you? Like we got sent out recently the New Balance shoes, the golf shoes, and I've always found that golf footwear has never been able to bridge the gap to like streetwear. Obviously, you wear golf shoes, they're spiked, and like you're not going to go wearing a pair of golf shoes down Main Street. But some of the New Balance ones look like their trainer style golf shoes are maybe looking to bridge that gap a little bit, even style wise.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to wear any New Balance to date. I haven't. I'd like to. I would like to because I'm a big New Balance wearer off the golf course. So I'm a big fan of trainers, and so I have a bit of a. Unfortunately for my wife, I have a trainer collection and a golf shoe collection, which I think she wishes it. Yeah, I think she wishes it was only one of the two. Actually, I think she wishes it was neither. But yeah, I like to wear New Balance off the golf course. So I'd like to wear some on. Definitely like to try that. I sometimes have to look back at what we've got behind us.
Sorry, so the fact is, I don't know, like people might be this, you would have a tower of golf boxes, shoe boxes all the way behind you. Like, also Johnny's sitting in his golf office, you're sitting in your golf office, and he's got flags everywhere, and you have this massive tower of about 20 pairs of golf shoes. It's so cool.
You're an amen corner, to be fair.
Yeah, that is true. You are at Augusta.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, this is. I don't want to be that guy, but it doesn't kind of scratch the surface, sadly, of what there's pairs upstairs. They're everywhere in our house. I don't have enough storage space, which yes, I'm humbled and very honoured to be able to say that. And it's a bit show offy, but I don't intend it to be that way. Painter, I would probably say to you, is a brand that I've worn this year more than any other. Makes some really great product. Met the guys who do the UK distribution and stuff earlier this year, and I've at the PGA show caught up with a guy called Mike Clancy and Mike Forsey, two Mikes who do the design for Painter. Mike Forsey used to work for Nike. He used to work on, so my favorite, probably go down to my favorite golf shoe of all time is the Nike SP8. Would have been the golf shoe that Tiger would have worn around 2007, 2008. One of my favorites of all time. He helped work on that shoe and work on the design of that shoe. So having a chat with him about product was really fun. But what Painter do's class, how they've expanded their range this year into spikeless and a couple of the mad high top versions that they've got on some stuff, as well as then bringing out the Gators, the RS Gators, are so beautiful golf shoes. So they offer a ton of tech, super comfortable, and the fit's really good on them as well. So yeah, a brand I think surprised me this year would be Painter for how much I've worn them. Brands like Adidas and Nike and stuff continue to make really solid product, but Painter's definitely been a surprise for me this year and how much I've gravitated to wanting to wear that product.
Yeah, for sure. On to hoodies then, I guess. You've spoke about them a good bit, but who do you think is doing the best?
Hoodies. So if you're, I don't want to say if you're on a little bit more of a budget, but FootJoy do their lightweight hoodie. Sensational hoodie. It fits really good. It's a great layering piece. The hood's got a good bit of weight to it as well. Nothing worse than a really lightweight hood that flaps everywhere in the wind, or during your golf swing for that matter. So I think that retails around between £50, £65, but a really solid hoodie, good fit, all round, good sleeves. Through the body's great as well. Kicking it up a notch, Curo. So Curo are a brand that reached out to me this year, wanted to send me some product. They do merino wool hoodies. They retail for £90, I think, here in the UK from memory. Come in black, navy, cream. They've got a couple others on the way for next year. For £90, really, really solid, really nice material. Fits really good. It's I won't say quite an oversized, but it's a little bit more of a generous fit through the body. But really enjoyed wearing those. Go up to then thicker knits, McCade, the cashmere blend that they've got, that retails. I think that hoodie retails for £125, £130 here in the UK. So they're really, really good, and the colorways that they have are sensational. As you say, Grayson, if you want to really push the budget and really go 395 roughly, I think, is it 400? Are they less than that? It might be a little less than that, right? I think
I got it for 300, but that was in Black Friday sales. But
okay, well, if it's happened at 300 once, I'm sure it will happen at 300 again at some point. So yeah, that's a they're fantastic as well. Yeah, there's so many great offerings hoodie wise. If you want knit, if you want a technical fabric, it's so funny because 7 years ago there'd be a couple of brands who did hoodies and that'd be it. But now it seems to be a pretty much a staple item, along with a quarter zip or along with a crew neck, that all brands now feel like they have to do and do a good job of.
moving on to pants, I guess that's always a very subjective one. Even this within pants, there are lots and lots of different takes. First thing is where do you sit on joggers?
Not a big joggers guy. I'm not going to lie to you. Not against them in any way, shape, or form. I just don't feel. Shall I tell you what I've struggled with joggers is what's the sock situation looking like for joggers?
You got to go ankle socks or invisible socks.
Yeah, but invisible socks. If those invisible socks start to disappear under your heel a little bit, your heels are in for an all world of pain for an afternoon, which I'm not. I'm a big believer in. I'll wear a pair of uncomfortable golf shoes just to pull off a fit. Like, I can do that. But if you're talking to me about blisters versus no blisters, I'm going to go with the no blister option on a fairly regular basis. I kind of liked I wore joggers a little while ago with a high top pair of Jordan 4 white cement golf shoes, which going back a little bit now on those, but that with the high top with the jogger, you kind of lost that. Where does the socks sit with you? Because the socks kind of disappear. So it ended up, I feel like it ended up looking quite smart with a high top. But yeah, more of a trouser guy.
Yeah, I think you got to be the right build for joggers. Like, Grant Horvat makes it look cool, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so there's certain, I think joggers are specific. I actually thought Phil made them look cool when Phil wore them when Grant lost them.
Phil's never made anything look cool. So for him to make joggers look cool, that's saying something.
There you go, Sam. You started fights with Alex Noren and Phil Mickelson.
So that's the clip it up. Clip it up. He won't mind. He won't mind. He's dealing with Sable Offshore. So don't. He's got bigger things going on than the golf fashion guy.
Yeah, even his panda dunks and I actually thought he made them look good, but I just don't think I could. I mean, I'd happily wear them. I'm not sure I can pull them off. I don't think I've got the physique for it.
And do you know what? That's a lot of what golf fashion is, right? It's wearing what you like, what you feel comfortable in. Is one thing I always say to people is if you want to wear it. Like, if you really like joggers, wear joggers. Just if you feel like you look good in them, that's the most important. Don't worry about what anyone else says or critiques. And this is the thing I get a lot, to go off on a slight tangent, but I'll put a post up about a slightly out there maybe piece of knitwear or a polo shirt or something, and people say, "Oh, I really like it, but I couldn't. I play off 25 or play off 15. I couldn't wear something like that." And that's always a really sad thing to get as a DM through or a comment or whatever, because people should be able to wear whatever people, regardless of your ability, you should be able to wear whatever you want to wear. Or like, I would have to play off scratch to wear a pair of white trousers. Like, no, you can, if you want to wear a pair of white trousers, wear a pair of white trousers. Like, if you want to, if that's the look that you want to go with, and you want to put a good outfit together, and white trousers fit into that. I don't care if you play off whatever you play off. Wear the white trousers and enjoy wearing the outfit on the golf course. That's a big bugbear of mine. I just want to get that one out there.
I think there's one exception to that.
Oh, okay, hit me.
It's got to be wearing a red Nike polo and black trousers. Dressing up like Tiger was, I'm like, oof, that's great.
And I will say, Johnny did own the non-collar red Tiger.
Yeah, the camo one.
Yeah.
Guilty. I'm with you on that one. I don't. The problem with the Tiger look is it can be achieved having spent very little in the way of budget compared to what you could spend on an outfit to play golf. So, you could pick up a really solid pair of black trousers for not a lot of money. It doesn't have to be a pair. It could be Uniqlo. It can be wherever. It doesn't have to be expensive. And a red Nike polo for $27.95 or whatever it is. So you can achieve the Tiger look on a bit of a budget. So I'll give people a little bit of a pass on that. But completely respect your take there, Johnny, on that one.
Do you feel pressure? Like, and I know because you put yourself up as the golf fashion guy. So if you go to the range or you're just playing out with your mates, like, do you feel pressure all the time to have the nicest gear on, to have it fit well? Like, do you feel that pressure to look good?
No. Well, a little bit. So there's times where I'll play and I know that it's going to be a content day. So sometimes, because I don't get to play a ton, I kind of have to make sure that when I am going out, I'm going to either test something and shoot some B-roll for a review or an Instagram post or whatever. I'll make sure that I've got an outfit on that I want to sort of show off. So this past weekend, I played on Saturday. I put a post up last night with some McCade pieces that I wanted to show off. Really nice new piece of knitwear. I was really excited to wear it, and I was like, look, I'm going to post, so I want to make sure that I've got something nice on. So, but then I played yesterday in the rain, and that was very much I'm not really going to post any content from today. I wanted to test a FootJoy rain jacket that I had. I wanted to wear that. So I wore that, but it wasn't going to be a content day. So I kind of don't really, if I know that there are some times where I do play and I don't post anything and you wouldn't know that I'd even been at the golf club. So that's where sometimes I like to, if it's a day that I know that I'm going to shoot some stuff, I'll try and make sure that I've got a bit of an outfit on of something I want to create a social post about. But if it's not, then I'll just go up for a game and you'll see me in a really basic outfit, white shoes, navy. I wear navy a ton. You'll see me in all navy, and it'll just be like, nah, this is a pretty dull outfit. But sometimes if it's not content, I'm kind of don't really mind. Don't get me wrong, you won't catch me in a navy pair of trousers and some black shoes with some white socks. You won't see me quite like that, but it'll be a little bit more of a less of a flexy kind of outfit, I think, a little bit more basic.
Is what I was kind of thinking. Johnny always says we're talking about golf. It's because it has its own little microcosm ecosystem and stuff. Like, I don't know any group of lads that are going to put in a message if they're going for a beer or they're going out. Like, I'm wearing this top, I'm wearing this hoodie. What do we think, lads? Do they match? But the minute there's a golf trip, like, lads have clothes out on the bed, and it's not a weird thing to send a message into the group like, lads, it's this with this or that's with that. And like, if you did it for, I'm going to wear this hoodie with this jeans, lads would be like, don't ever put that into a group. But I think golf is kind of,
old man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, what are you talking about? We're going to the pub. But like, golf has this unbelievable thing where, like, it's not weird if one of your mates turns up in the first seat and you'd be like, man, you look great. That's a class outfit. But if you said that walking into the the heifer pig or the giddy eagle or whatever it was, you'd be like, man, don't talk about what I'm wearing. But I think it's kind of brought that fashion stuff into a men's thing, and all of a sudden there's a little bit more crossover now.
How cool is that to be able to do though? I like again. Go back 10 years. You probably doesn't happen, and I love the fashion side of golf has become what it's become over the last 10 years because those conversations get had, which is great, and I think it definitely yeah, you wouldn't do it going down the pub if you're wearing I'm going to wear my Levi's jeans and a champion hoodie. Is that all right? Do you think I'll look good in that? Like, you're not going to send that message. But yeah, if it's oh guys, wait till you see this knitwear I'm wearing tomorrow, and this pair of shoes. Wait till you see these shoes. So yeah, I love that happens. It's cool that we're in a position where we can do that as blokes, and it's you would probably say it's more of a feminine thing for the girls and wives and whatever to message each other before going out on a night out or whatever and consult on outfits. But I love the fact that we get to do it for golf is fun, and it's not abnormal.
We
Yeah,
have to
like
do it so that we don't match.
yeah, we don't like to
Yeah,
look. We don't
yeah.
want to look like me and my golf. Do you know what I mean? Like those lads have that
Wow,
day.
strays,
You know what
catching
I mean?
strays there, the boys.
Well, I think
Yeah,
it's more the boys look good, very well doing it. But
yeah. That's
that's not our brand at all. Yeah, so
yeah.
if we accidentally do it, we just look foolish.
No, I started bringing an extra set of clothes in the car because we've walked out once wore the same polo and I've had to whip it straight off in the car park and put a different one on. Like
I was invited to a Under Armour trip to Portugal in October, and it was a bit of a media trip to show off some new footwear that they've got coming for next year, which I think a lot of people would enjoy. So a little spoiler on that one. But we were told not to bring an outfit, and when everyone got to their rooms, everyone got very similar mid layers, and then two polos which were the same but in slightly different colors, and then the same two pairs of trousers. So everyone turned up the next day wearing the same version of an outfit. And I had to turn around so I was playing with Dan Parker. I don't know if you guys follow the Golf Monthly content all that much, but one half of the Kick Point podcast, and we were sharing a buggy together wearing the same shirt, and I had to tongue in cheek turn around to Dan and said, Dan, there's not many times that people dress exactly like I do for a game of golf. So yeah, it was fun. It was obviously the occasion, so you kind of it was an acceptable thing to have happen because of where we are and who we were with. But it was just funny that we were navy trousers, same navy shirt with a white stripe through the front of it, just completely the same outfit. I don't think we had the same shoes on. We had different shoes, but it was funny nonetheless.
Okay, so I got some there just to finish up. We're gonna play hot or not. Okay, so I'm gonna say some random things to you, and you got to give us your opinion, hot or not. So first one, bucket hats, hot or not?
No. Stop. All manufacturing of bucket hats for golf needs to be halted immediately. Stop it. You can clip that and please share that as far and wide as marketing budgets allow. Everyone needs to hear that.
Fair enough.
This is good. Backwards caps on the golf course.
Only if you're Rory McIlroy and it's raining.
Right, I'm in trouble.
Michael likes a good backwards cap.
A backward hat.
Yeah.
So, but with a backward hat, how obviously
You wear it if it's windy. You won't be brought up and do it any day.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay. Yeah. Weather condition permitting, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I've actually people have commented on some videos that I've been disrespecting the golf course because my hat is backwards. But I get a bit sitting here, so I spin it round, and I didn't realize I was spinning it round, and then I've had some abuse. All right.
I would imagine there's a lot of members that would be very quick to scurry out of the clubhouse with you on the 18th green with the backwards hat.
Probably because I've broken stuff as well, but that's again. Okay, non-white golf gloves.
No.
Only white.
G4 do some cool black camo and some cool colors. I've had a light blue. I think I'd like to go light colors only. Can we do that?
Yeah, no,
Thomas Dietrich with his very eclectic mix of colored gloves sometimes looks really cool with a different colored gloves. Sometimes it's a bit too out there for me. But yeah, lighter color gloves. I personally, you're always probably going to see me in a white glove.
You don't back Aaron Rye's two gloves, no?
Oh no. See, I can't play golf in two gloves though. I can't. I need one naked hand on the grip just to help me save the glove face as and when I can. So I need that extra touch.
like and Aaron Rodgers probably never going to listen, but he just looks like a mass serial killer murderer, like from Dexter or something. And I just can't unsee them, like him strangling someone. It's like Jack the Ripper. And I'm like, Aaron, please, you're cool. You could be so cool looking. Get rid of the other glove, please.
But all accounts, really nice guy from what I've been told. Might look like a
He's
serial
lovely.
killer.
I've met
Super nice guy.
I met his dad over in Abu Dhabi for the HSBC Championship. So he obviously won the event, but I was chatting
Yeah.
to his dad. The only thing I will say is his dad was wearing a Barber jacket.
Yes, they called that out on the coverage.
Yeah. Barber jacket in like 30-degree heat. I was like, okay, so if Aaron Rye is a psycho, he gets it from his father.
Other than that, he's got massive sweat patches that he's trying to cover up there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm going to throw one in here. So we kind of spoke about ankle socks and invisible socks. You're wearing shorts. You're wearing ankle socks. You're wearing long socks.
See, this is the great sock debate, though, isn't it? I can't give you a generic answer. So normally, I would say if you're wearing a traditional style pair of shoes, a G4 Galavanta, a FootJoy Premier Series, something along those lines, and you were born after 1992, then you probably should wear no-show ankle socks. If you're a Gen Z or later, and you could probably go with a more of a crew. And then if you're wearing a trainer style golf shoe, a Tour 360, something a little more sporty, then yeah, I think a crew sock works. But truthfully, it kind of depends on the rest of the outfit. Sometimes people will wear a pair of Premier Series, really nice sort of old school preppy US kind of look. And they'll wear crew socks and it'll look great. And sometimes they'll wear no-show socks and it also will look good. So it kind of depends a little on the individual. There's not a one-size-fits-all, unfortunately, for that answer. But it is one of the great debates that every summer I'll make a post on it and I'll have multiple people comment that I'm either right or I'm wrong, which is great.
It's funny because it's an age thing, because my brother's 4 or 5 years younger than me, and he's right in the middle of the cutoff. So he hates me wearing ankle socks because he's always big socks. So, and he's like, "Man, you're not old enough to wear ankle socks." And I was like, "Yeah, but." And Johnny and I said this when we were getting the New Balance stuff. New Balance in my image is still your dad wearing jeans, shorts, cutting the grass. Do you know what I mean? And then to the younger kids, they're like, "What are you talking about? No one's dad wears New Balance." I'm like, "No, they all wore those big chunky New Balance." So there's like a age cutoff.
There is. I am definitely old enough to be in the millennial age bracket. So you'll see me with more ankle socks and trainer socks than long socks I'm not a big shorts guy, to tell you the truth. Like where I play a lot of my golf is links golf. It's down on the coast. Even in the middle of summer when it's super hot, it's never not that hot down there. And I'm gonna hit golf balls into the long grass, into the rough. I'm gonna be traipsing around. You don't want to be traipsing around in some meadow-like grass with shorts on. So I'll try and go with a lighter weight pair of trousers rather than shorts, and sort of cap the argument before it begins on what socks I should wear.
I like that.
Okay, white belts.
No. Yes, if it's 2013, but it's not anymore. So,
and on that, what about the big buckle at the front?
Yes, if you're Anthony Kim. If you're not, no. Yeah, do you know what? They had a moment, didn't they?
Yeah.
2013, 2014. If you didn't have a white belt and it didn't have a massive buckle on it, you weren't anyone. And I still own a white belt. For me, a white belt if you are going to wear some white shorts and you've got a lighter color polo shirt, you could probably still go with a white belt to match in with the white shorts. I don't mind that. I would maybe go with a brown belt instead, because I really like a white and brown mix when it comes to to
Old
that
money
sort of
style. Yeah,
style of
that's
outfit. Yeah, that's I kind of like that style for that. Belts is always a hot topic. Belts is always one that I get questions on. What one of the lads I used to work with will still message me. He'll be going away on a trip, and he'll have all of his outfit. As we said, all of his outfits
yeah.
laid out on the bed, and he'd be like, "Yeah, what color belt should I wear with these light blue shorts and this navy shirt?" And I'm like, "Dude, navy belt straight away. Get involved." So yeah, if I was to give every golfer should own a grey belt, a brown belt, a black belt, and a navy belt. And one recommendation I would always give to people is buy a really nice belt. No buckle that is just your standard belt fasten.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy really nice belts in those colors, you will have them forever. So I spent a good amount of money on a couple of pairs of Boss belts years ago. I want to say I've probably had these belts for over 10 years, and they get worn regularly. They're starting to crack a teeny bit on the inside, but the outside is fine, and they're still my go-to belts for those colors. And so, one advice I would give to people is invest in your belts and get those belts in those colors. And I don't think you'll ever not have a belt to go with an outfit.
That's a good call. Okay.
The problem that you have is every brand has a different color navy. So when I say navy belt, you might need about 4 different navy belts just to kind of match them up as close as you can to the different brands. But that's a whole other topic altogether.
Especially now Under Armour's changing their navy.
They're changing their navy. Yeah, I think it's going to a slightly darker navy, I think, from memory. So it's like Hugo Boss have a really dark navy. So their navy's like a midnight navy, whereas Ralph Lauren have a French navy, which is more of a bluey navy. So if you were to wear a belt that would match this is really weed stuff, guys. You can cut this.
Really, we're an hour and 10 into the conversation. Don't worry.
Yeah,
if
this is going
still
too much. This isn't going to make the edit. So yeah, I would say if you're going to go, don't do a light navy belt with a dark navy pair of trousers. That's just a bit too far. But that's really weedsy. That's just really getting into it. But yeah, long story short, those would be the belt colors that I would go with and invest in your belts. Don't feel bad about spending 60-70 pounds on a belt. I think you should do that, spend that 270 quid or 210 pounds, whatever, 4 times 70 is, and 28, right? That's right. Yeah, spend 280 quid and you'll never have to spend 280 quid again if you get some nice ones.
Okay, 2 more. So we had this big one, and Johnny actually did a reel on it, and visors, hot or not?
Yes, can't believe I'm saying that.
That's a big call.
Yeah, if you'd asked me that question 2 months ago, I would have said no. And the only reason why I would say no is because I can't pull them off.
Yeah.
And so I'm slightly jealous of the people who look really cool in the Tour visors.
The Poulter, the Poulter Luke Donald makes it like the Ryder Cup visors are the coolest things ever. And then you try put one on and you look like an idiot.
Yeah, but you have to have their hair.
Yeah, I don't have any hair.
So I haven't got Ian Poulter's hair, and I haven't got Luke Donald's hair. I'm glad I haven't got Luke Donald's hairline for a start. That's a stray. I don't know if you want to leave that one in or not.
No, mine's going the same way. So,
but he looked epic in a visor. Luke Donald did back in the day. But those visors, no, I think those visors are gone. But the Tour visor, so the wider brim that goes round. I picked up a couple from the Quiet Golf store in LA in October, and I wore one for the first time, and I actually think it looked, especially as I was in LA on the golf course in LA, which
you kind of have to dress.
I felt like that fitted a little bit more with the environment, but I thought it was a pretty cool look if I do say so myself.
Okay, and then the one last one is clubhouse rules, like ties in the dining room. If you're wearing shorts, long socks, is that hot or not? Proper.
I mean, you're not expecting me to say it's hot, are you? It's the worst. Do you know what? I would go as far as to say it's one of the worst things about our sport is, and I am all for tradition. I love the fact that golf clubs still have tradition. They still, I can get on board with like if you want white socks, no coloured socks. Like I understand that, but the long socks thing is to. I think Royal Cinque Ports are still long socks with shorts or plus fours as some of the members will still wear. I just don't love it. And then to have to wear a jacket in certain parts of the clubhouse and stuff like that, I think that's such a barrier to entry. And I'm a big believer in like even if you're a members golf club, if you boast some really good dining, like you should encourage non-members to be able to come in, and it should be an environment that's a really welcoming environment because yes, COVID's been fantastic for the sport and it's gotten a lot of new people into the sport, but we have a responsibility to keep those people because I fear that in time we will probably go back to circa 2019 and we'll be in the same position we're in there if golf clubs don't operate slightly differently. And I don't think anyone's really immune from this. So I would love to see golf clubs and their clubhouses be more encouraging to non-members and members of the public and their people's families and that sort of stuff to come and spend some money because that's ultimately that's what it's down to, because there's be a lot of golf clubs on a dreary Monday afternoon today that don't really have anyone in the clubhouse and you're paying someone to stand behind the bar and you're not really getting a great return for that. So if you can find ways of hosting networking events, coffee afternoons, whatever it might be, I think that's a really important thing for golf clubs to do. And having to have a change of clothes to go into the clubhouse, I think we're slightly past that. Old school clubs that have rooms that are exclusively dining, okay, I get it. But if you've got a spike bar area type thing where you can still, because there's some golf clubs that still won't allow you in a pair of trainers. Like depending on where I'm going, I'll have a pair of dress shoes in the boot of the car just in case I need to change into a pair of dress shoes to go into the clubhouse. There's still places like that exist, which is still interesting. But I would love golf club houses to become more accommodating than they are now.
Yeah. And last one, do you encourage anyone to get into their dad's or granddad's wardrobe and retrofit golf things out and get like the real old nice 80s polo? Like, so I coach hockey and we do a football jersey Friday when the lads train, so they're 6 years, and the lads get on and one guy comes out it was in the 1950s Plymouth Argyle jersey. So would you like the kind of the retro golf fit as well? Would you like people to get involved?
Yeah, I do like the retro stuff. I'm a golf hipster. I'm not sure if you know Kieran. Kieran's a good buddy of mine, and he's a big believer in that look, that old school oversized cotton polos. Personally, not for me. It's not what I like to wear. Not what I feel like looks good on me, but plenty of guys pulling it off, plenty of guys looking very cool in it. So I'm neither here nor there. There's definitely a place for that retro, those 90s, those Tiger Woods looks, those extra large polo shirts when you should probably be wearing a medium. Like there's a place for that. But for me, it's not what I like to wear. But I might break one out every now and again. Something slightly on the oversized. It depends a little bit on the occasion, but unlikely. But I'm not going to say they're not hot. Put it that way.
Fair enough. So what is coming up on the horizon? What's up in 2026 for the golf fashion guy?
I just hope it's anywhere near as good as 2025, to be honest. If I experience half the things next year that I did this year, I'll be a very lucky individual. I'm going back to the PGA show in January, which is great.
I'll see you there.
That very good. We'll have a beer. Look
at us golf friends traveling all around the world. Well, I'm stuck here. Yeah, whatever, lads.
It's for me creating content around what I create content around, to have access to all the stuff before it comes out in the year and to get a look at that and be able to, like, some brands are very good at, like FootJoy allowed me to post some content from the booth that was a pair of shoes that didn't come out until September. And I was posting about them in January, and that video did I think it did 250,000 views, and it was responsible for at least 1,000 new followers to my account. That one in hand little look at phone with a pair of shoes in hand, 12 seconds long. So for me, it's a great chance to see some new product, get ahead of the game, know what I'm going to be talking about for a little bit of the year, and to create some content. I think I'll probably be back to California at some point next year. There's a lot of things I want to do out there. But aside from that, nothing really. A lot of stuff comes from 1 or 2 months out. Sometimes it can be quite a quick turn of events. Like playing the old course was literally a 3 weeks. What are you doing on these dates? And it sometimes happens. Maybe I wasn't first choice for that trip. Maybe they were scratching around trying to find a fourth. So who knows? But yeah, that's about it currently. But I hope a ton more shows up for sure.
Lovely stuff. Listen, Sam, thanks so much. It was enlightening. It's great to get your opinions on where the industry is, and I mean, I don't think we're going to be trying to book a hat anytime soon. But thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me, gents. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
On the tee, Jack Nicklaus.
This is the minute that millions around the world have waited for.
We will allow you to enjoy all of this. They are dancing in the pubs of Dublin. Harrington with an ace.
And we have a shining star at sunset. Rory continues his run to greatness.
The return to glory.